Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to take a look at Jupiter in Aries energies, as this is the beginning of a whole new 12-year energy cycle that begins in 2022, and we will revisit it again in the first half of 2023. In this show, we will focus on the energies of transiting Jupiter in Aries in 2022 as it enters this first sign of the zodiac on May 10th, travels to 8 degrees 43 minutes of Aries until July 28th, where it stations retrograde, and then voyages backwards, re-enters Pisces on October 29th, 2022, where it will then be in the last 2 degrees of the zodiac. So Jupiter returns to 28 and 29 degrees of Pisces before it fully enters Aries again on December 20th, 21st. So this is an important cycle to note because as Jupiter first enters Aries in May, it is really coming in with an ignition of energy, the starting point, something new, something fresh, and it's made to keep us moving forward. But then as Jupiter travels back into Pisces in late October, November, December of 2022, there is more that is being released, completed. Chances are you're going to see things in a new way around what you are done with. And then Jupiter re-enters Aries and travels through the full 30 degrees of Aries into 2023. So it's an interesting cycle where we're ready to get something going, kickstart it, getting off the ground, move it ahead. And that could even feel like something you're welcoming in your life because as Jupiter enters Aries, there is that fresh spark of energy. It really helps us understand more of what we want, what we need, what we desire, and how to really trust that, how to understand that that is your own energy speaking to you that's also amplifying who you are now. And that is one of the gifts of Aries, is that it brings us into ourselves. This is the starting point of a cycle that wants you to begin with who you are now, which could look very different than maybe what you anticipated or expected, but it could also feel really welcoming. Like you're just excited to have something new coming forward, coming in, and it's resonating with you at a very deep level of your being. The Aries energy is about that initial spark of life that gets something going, and it's the energy too of trusting what you feel immediately, because Aries energy is very fast. It's very in the moment. It's where something happens quickly. And that includes what you're feeling at a gut level, what your body is saying to you, what you're feeling energetically, and to trust that. Because with Aries energy moving so quickly, it's designed to keep something moving. It's designed to get you moving and to look at what is motivating you, what is inspiring you, and to simply allow that energy to speak for itself. This can also be the impulsiveness and impatience of Aries, where you don't want to wait. You want to get something moving. There can be that sense of I'm tired of things being at a standstill or feeling like I'm in this void. And that can be the case when Jupiter or any planet is moving through Pisces, is that by the end of those degree points in Pisces, there can be a sense of I'm really ready for something to move. So what is that for you? What are you feeling rising up in you? And more specifically, look in your natal astrology chart at where you have 0 degrees of Aries. This is the point of pure potential and new beginnings of the full 360-degree astrological wheel. So there's something that is coming through that you're kickstarting, and it's meant to simply be something that feels good for you. You trust it. It's speaking to you. It's calling to you. And then as the energy progressions, you start to see more of what that is. So this can even feel like that leap of faith that I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to do it. I have no idea how it's going to play out or what's going to happen next, but I'm just feeling really called to move forward in my life and to trust what I'm feeling around that. And it's important to keep in mind that there's going to be a lot you don't quite know yet, that maybe it's not quite taking shape or taking form. There could be a lot of energy here that you're looking to exert, even when you don't know where it's going or how something is going to come together. But that's basically the beginning of any new adventure, any new project, any new endeavor, is that you're just supposed to stay open to it. And that Jupiter energy supports us in trusting. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system, and it expands and amplifies. Jupiter makes something easier and bigger. Jupiter can exaggerate. Jupiter can overdo it and not know when to say when. But Jupiter ultimately wants us to learn, to grow, to understand more, to understand what we want, especially in Aries. Now, because that Aries energy is so in the moment and present, there could be a sense here that you're connecting with something that's really true for you. It's simply resonating and has a powerful sense of alignment that only you know, because that Aries energy is your own aura, your own energy field. It's something that other people might not have access to, might not understand, might not see, but you feel it, you're sensing it, you're aware of it. And this is where we can start to make declarations around, I'm ready to do this next. And so that Jupiter in Aries could show you the new start you're ready to make in your life, simply because it's exactly what you want, it's speaking to you, and it's rising you up, it's moving you forward and inspiring you in a way that could also feel very natural. Where, yes, this is just an easy yes. Yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to go there. Sure, I want to try that. It has the energy of why not? Why not just see what happens? Why not just see what comes about? And it has that carefreeness too that can help you connect to a joy in life again. Connect to something that gives you confidence, that feels like this is really what I need to do for myself. It's good for my energy. It's good for who I am right now. And so again, it has that easy yes quality to it. Jupiter in Aries is helping you with the courage to trust what is for you, the courage to really own it and allow it to take you forward, because this is about forward motion. Not only is Aries the first sign in the zodiac, but it is a fire sign. It is a masculine energy. It is about that self-initiation. So what do you need to start new in your life at 0 degrees of Aries? Because it's exactly what you want, what you desire, what is correct for you. And it's something that you're trusting in yourself is going to lead to something else. The self-leadership energy is strong here. And when we identify where this is showing up in our charts, especially by house placement, this is where you're meant to do something for yourself and to feel empowered by that, again, to trust that, and also to know that there's a reason why it's speaking to you. Jupiter in Aries gives you this courage to be yourself in a new way. And because this is the beginning of a 12-year cycle, there could be something you're starting now that is meant to help you grow and develop for the next 12 years until 2034. And also something that you're meant to just embrace about your self-identity. Understanding that because you want something, that's enough. That can be that simple, especially when you're feeling it energetically and when your body is responding to it. Our body consciousness is quite wise and quite smart. And Aries also rules the first experience of being in the physical body, where we travel from the void of Pisces, the endings, the clearing out, almost this nothingness that the final few degrees of Pisces gifts us with. Then the Aries energy is basically the ignition of a new start and what it means to be yourself in the world, but also to connect with the physicality of your body, of the energy running through your veins and through you at a cellular level. And this can certainly feel like a new life force. A new life force is moving through you, pulsing through you, moving through your blood and your veins and helping you tap into what is true for you. So you're wanting to trust this energy. And as this Jupiter in Aries moves forward to nearly 9 degrees of Aries by the end of July 2022, this part of your chart could really be booming with new energies, new invitations, new offers, new developments, new ideas, new projects, new, because now we're really in this energy cycle of a courageous, fresh start that is energetically correct for you. It's important to note that May, June, July 2022 is also when this Jupiter in Aries is traveling behind where Chiron previously traversed in your natal astrology chart. Chiron in Aries moved from 0 to nearly 9 degrees of Aries from the middle of 2018 until the very beginning of this year, 2022. So about 3.5 years or so, we've been experiencing Chiron in Aries in this particular part of your chart. And that Chiron in Aries has brought up the lack of confidence, the vulnerability, the wounds, the pain, the hurt, the insecurities. Chiron comes through and first reveals a deep pain or vulnerability that is often hard to move through quickly. It involves a healing process. It involves ongoing work, clearing, intentional use of the energy. And as we move through that Chiron healing process, then we tap into more of our own superpowers because Chiron is a key. It's a key to your gifts, a key to what you have that could be hidden under the surface, that could be something that you didn't see or didn't note. But Chiron wants you to tap into that part of your soul's gifts, understand what you're working with, how to do so consciously, and then basically offer that healed wisdom out into the world. And so when Chiron is strong, either in a natal chart or through a transiting aspect, Chiron can bring up what we don't think we're good at, what we're doubting and questioning, what we don't feel confident about. Chiron was ultimately gifted with understanding alternative healing paths where we're not meant to go the mainstream route. We're not meant to follow what is traditional. We're meant to see what else can be used to heal us, to support us, what other remedies or options may be a better fit that aren't typical, that aren't the mainstream. So typically with strong Chiron, something can feel like we're ostracized, we're wounded, we are separated or kicked out of something, we're on the outskirts. That Chiron energy is being gifted with ultimately finding another path and another route. And that is part of the healing journey that's offered so that you can go into more of the possibilities that you didn't normally see or that you didn't realize were available to you. So as Chiron has been moving through Aries, it's been covering this first decan, again from 0 to 9 degrees, starting in mid-2018, and then finishing up that 8-9 degree point of Aries in January 2022, and Chiron won't return here to this first decan of Aries for at least 49 years. So essentially, Chiron is done with that part of your chart, and that may bring up a sigh of relief and a sense of closure as well around what those Chiron and Aries wounds have triggered in you, but hopefully also helped you heal and move through. Because on the other side of that transiting Chiron and Aries energy, we connect to a new sense of self. Chiron in Aries has removed some of that more intense or exaggerated, or rather that unconscious Aries energy, which can be the parts of yourself that thought you had to fight for something. Maybe you had to prove yourself. Maybe there was a sense that there was things you had to always be really good at, or you had to be first, you had to be the best, something that Aries energy has been experiencing unconsciously. The Chiron in Aries shows you don't have to approach it in that way. You don't need to be totally in your egoic self or fight. You could also be looking at your connection to anger, reactions, impulsivity, impatience, anything that has been unconsciously immature within you, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac and it is an infant, it is a toddler, it is that archetypal energy of me, what do I need? What am I about? And that is at the lower expressions of Aries. And so depending on what you have in your chart, especially if you have planets or points in Aries, Chiron has been helping you heal anything that you weren't aware of in these Aries energies in yourself, where you don't have to be the best. It's more about just showing up and doing your best. Or perhaps it's helped you reframe some things. If you ever thought you were in competition with everyone, or you had this unconscious operating system of always being first, always getting done first, or something that was competitive and maybe you didn't realize it. Maybe there was something too around your self-identity that you felt you couldn't soften. You felt it wasn't safe to be more of yourself or all of yourself because it didn't appear strong or it didn't appear confident. Well, Chiron in Aries comes through, takes away the swords, takes away the shields, takes away anything that's false to return you to what is essential and true for you. So all of this is important to note because Chiron has been here, as I said, since the middle of 2018. Now here comes Jupiter in Aries that is providing you with support for what you've learned through that Chiron in Aries journey. Jupiter comes in and is going to offer you some presents, some goodies, some gifts, some reassurance. This Jupiter wants you to feel good about who you are right now after what you've healed, especially if you have felt loss or that something was very deep, very heavy, very emotional. That Chiron energy can go very deep into our energy fields, almost like it can cut through all 7 layers of our skin and hit the bone within us and have a very deep injury that just takes all that time to heal. But we are made to heal. We are made to reemerge and start again. We are made to trust in the wisdom of our energies, of our bodies, of everything that we're capable of. And I feel like this Jupiter in Aries, especially in 2022, is going to reveal to you the perks and benefits of the healing process you were moving through since 2018. And because it's Aries, things can happen fast. There can be momentum. Something can be immediate or instantaneous or just be like this very clear yes. And it can almost feel like it happens too fast or it's too good to be true, especially because Chiron in Aries has moved so slowly back and forth over these various degree points and basically has kept triggering more that needs to be healed and understood, but also helping you get into the heart of something. And I do feel like that is one of the gifts of Chiron's healing journey. You get to the heart of something within yourself that's very true. You get into it at a core level and it connects you to the purity of your own essence, to the purity of something you didn't really see in yourself that Chiron was guiding you into. And then once you connect to it, it's connecting with a new frequency, a new energy field within yourself that you've already been carrying, but it has a higher expression when it's healed. So this leads to greater self-confidence, more self-knowingness, understanding who you are, how you operate, getting to the heart of what you need and what matters to you. Also, understanding more of what you've been through, whatever those habits or patterns have been, and it helps you get more to the core of your own energy. For example, Chiron can reveal if you're truly an empath. It can reveal more of your hypersensitivity to energies, or if you identify as being a highly sensitive person, and how that can be difficult to navigate in a world at times. It can be very misunderstood. There can be things in ourselves that we don't always see or understand. But then when you get to that core of the energy of saying, okay, I'm a highly sensitive person. That's why all of this stimuli is too much for me. That's why I'm done with all the people, all the crowds, everything that's too much. That's why I need to take time for myself, to be alone, to work my energy through. That's why I can't be involved in certain behaviors or choices or actions because they're not good for my energy. It doesn't feel good. It isn't authentic. It isn't genuine. And maybe there's been the realization that you need new boundaries or different ways of maneuvering through the world to honor who you really are energetically. So that is one of the gifts of Chiron, is that because it connects you to the heart of who you are, it shifts how you understand yourself in the world, but also brings up more of that self-acceptance of your energy. So then here comes Jupiter in Aries that wants you to feel good about yourself, that wants to celebrate you, that wants you to feel excited about what you've been through, even from a place of self-empowerment, and to feel like you can be comfortable in your own skin, that you can be comfortable in who you are now, and that it isn't something you have to hold back or discount or think you have to be a certain way because it's what your ego perceived was acceptable, or the ways that you thought you had to show up in order to be seen, recognized, or understood. This Jupiter in Aries gives you that influx of energy that returns you to the truth of who you are. And then what are you going to do from there? What calls to your energy? What moves you forward? What inspires you next? And it could feel like this whole healed version of yourself that's being supported. So I feel like this is a beautiful energy gift from the universe, where this Jupiter in Aries traveling behind Chiron in Aries is heavily focused on not only what you've been through in terms of the healing energy since 2018, but also this return to yourself that is meant to be personal, subjective. It's meant to be something on your own terms. And again, this part of your chart where Jupiter in Aries is transiting is meant for you to do something that's correct for you. It's not about others. It's not about obligations. It certainly is not about compromise or holding back any parts of yourself. This is where you're meant to feel truly alive in who you are now, especially this fuller, healed version of yourself that is ready to fully blossom and bloom. Now, as I mentioned with Jupiter, there can be too much of a good thing. So this Jupiter in Aries in the lower expressions can be quite egotistical, can be quite self-involved, can come across as being too much or full of themselves. So it will depend on every individual's unique expression and needs. But ultimately, what I feel here at the higher expressions is that there's something the universe wants to support you with, wants to give you a return of faith and trust in something, especially something that maybe felt very fragile or frail during Chiron's transit through this part of your chart. So this can help you sync some of the layers together. This can help show you what you're ready to beautifully embrace and how to really honor yourself and what you've been through. So if you have planets or points between 0 to 9 degrees of Aries. This energy is working with you more personally. And keep in mind that this is the first time that Jupiter has been in Aries since 2010 and 2011. So you could think back to those years and look at what Jupiter in Aries expanded and grew for you, what came about easily, where there was support, where things showed up to help you be yourself. Now this energy feels even more powerful and potent because it feels like there is a deeper truth that you've arrived at, a deeper understanding of your own energy, and especially a new sense of what it means to be yourself in this lifetime. So Jupiter will voyage to 8 degrees 43 minutes of Aries until July 28th, 2022, where it stations retrograde and then goes backwards and will go over that same territory in your chart and is then asking you to further integrate it, to review it, to really consider it. Because sometimes that Jupiter in Aries, it's very impulsive. It gives you that immediate yes, but the retrograde is going to allow you to slow down and sit with something and really ensure that it's connecting and to make sure that you're not missing anything, because the Aries energy will move too fast at times. In fact, it can move too fast for others. This is the part of your chart where there's something moving forward. Perhaps it happens very quickly and it could be hard to keep up in a way. And so the retrograde is going to give you that time to be in the energy, further integrate it, slow down, review, reconsider, really look at how this is working with your energy and determining how to make the most of it. So that Jupiter retrograde lasts until November 24th. So Jupiter in Aries retrogrades back into Pisces, re-enters Pisces October 29th, remains retrograde until November 24th, where it stations direct at 28 degrees, 48 minutes of Pisces, then moves forward and will re-enter Aries again on December 20th. And after that, Jupiter will remain in Aries and travel through all 30 degrees until May 16th, 2023. So it's basically this first decan of Aries where we have support three times to get something going, for that new start to really be quality, to work, to connect, for something new to be ignited that you can really trust in yourself. You can really understand it's correct for you, and the universe is going to show you more of what that is and why it matters, why it's important to you at this time, because it's going to reflect back to you some new parts of your own energy. So again, this is where it will be necessary to have courage, to take a risk, to do something new, because it's that energy revealing how you're new, how you're different right now, and that there could be something you're trying for the first time and you're like, I never thought I would do this. This is really crazy. This is not what I expected, but it feels right. It feels good. And it's happening easily, almost like things are just coming together. And that's always a beautiful sign from the universe that it is the path to follow, that there's something here that you're meant to pursue or check out, and that you're simply trusting what unfolds and how it shows up. So if you have planets or points in Aries from 9 degrees to 29 degrees, then you're going to really feel Jupiter more strongly in 2023. 2022, it's really that focus on 0 to 8, nearly 9 degrees. So if you have anything at 9 degrees, you're going to feel it picking up and you're going to feel the energy growing. But Jupiter really gets to 9 degrees of Aries in February 2023. This energy is also going to support the other fire signs of Leo and Sagittarius. Get something moving. It could feel like you're inspired, you're motivated, there's things you're ready to take to the next level. This is about that fire energy that wants to create, that wants to grow, that wants something to develop. There's a lot of action and movement here. And again, it could feel like things just connect more easily because those planets in the fire signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius are finally being supported by Jupiter. And we haven't had that since Jupiter was in Sagittarius in late 2018 and into 2019. So now is the time when we have a return of confidence, of growth, creativity, action, movement, a fresh spark of life that is giving you something new to trust in yourself. Aries energy is also connected to our root chakra. And that root chakra, the red chakra, is our foundational energy that's connected to basic needs in terms of feeling safe, feeling secure in who you are, in your connection to the planet, in your connection to how your soul's energy is here on the planet at this time. And so this root chakra energy is perhaps feeling very uplifted. I feel like the Chiron in Aries was about the reprogramming of that root chakra. So again, going back to 2018 to early 2022, Chiron in Aries maybe was deeply triggering some root chakra themes in yourself, in your life, in your world. The root chakra connects us to not only our safety and security, but also how we trust ourselves. We know that it's okay to be who we are and to honor that, to honor what moves up through us. And if there's been anything that has kept that root chakra smaller or dimmed down, then that could have been what needed to be healed through Chiron and Aries, which can certainly bring up trauma, abuse, pain, rejection, abandonment, some of these deeper core themes that deeply impact our energy until we heal them or move through them with greater consciousness. And so this Jupiter in Aries could really bring in a new sense of what that root chakra energy is for you, how it runs through you. You could feel more safe in yourself than ever before. And even when something is triggered or comes up, now you have new tools to work with. Now you have a higher consciousness to access around how to deal with certain themes or energies that you've already moved through. And this, I see it as a brighter root chakra, as a really beautiful, glowing, vibrant red color that gives you a sense of trusting yourself, trusting your ability to handle life, to handle all the energies on the planet that we're experiencing and moving through, trusting what you need, trusting what is correct for you from a solid, clear place that doesn't rely on others. So this is the independence of Aries too, where you could see that some things are no longer tangled up in other people's energies. Whether you have moved through any codependent patterns, you've detached, you've cut cords, you've done intentional work around what you've been through, especially in relationships, this is where you could feel more grounded and clear in knowing your own needs. And that's another theme that's supported here with Jupiter and Aries is really knowing yourself, knowing your needs, knowing what you want, but also knowing who you are not. And you could feel that as well, where you could have this understanding of, I'm no longer that person. I'm no longer that version of myself. I no longer need that. I'm no longer interested in certain types of patterns or habits or things that I thought would keep me safe or feel good or feel secure. There's a new sense here of a truth rising, and that truth feels more healed, grounded, and clear, and could also bring up this very interesting realization around who you are no longer. And it's a bit like how we've shedded skin, right? How things have been completed. We've outgrown certain parts of our lives, certain stages, certain things that we thought were going to be with us, but we've elevated it. We've elevated it to a new understanding. We've elevated it to a higher energy within ourselves. And I feel like this does relate to any of the unconscious ways we thought we had to be loved. We had to be accepted. We had to be seen. We had to be understood. And there's things here that could have just been like built into your energy, built into that root chakra, built into maybe even other people's expectations of you or what you believed was important in order to be recognized or loved. It's like this energy has really required us to come home to ourselves, to come back to really connecting with new self-definitions that our souls have always carried, but maybe were lost or covered up and reprogrammed through other experiences, other connections, other relationships, things in the world, things with our family, all of that and more. This energy brings you back to the heart of a truth. And it's from there that a new energy is birthed, a new energy emerges that's deeply connected to what that self-love means to you now. Another way to look at this energy is to look at the opposite astrology sign and what it's helping to balance or heal as well as emphasize. So Aries is the opposite of Libra, and Libra is where we cooperate, we share, we get to know people, we partner up, we understand what it means to have that giving and receiving dynamic that's healthy, as well as seeing where it's out of balance or where it's not in a reciprocal exchange. And some of those lower expressions of Libra are that what we'll do to keep other people happy. It's how you think a relationship has to be in a certain order, where you surrender yourself or where there can be self-abandonment in order for the relationship to keep going. This is where you can have the codependency show up. This is where you can be locked into certain things that don't truly honor who you are, what you need. This is where you can do things just to keep the peace, but it isn't really your truth. So Jupiter in Aries brings us back into ourselves to really take a good hard look at what is operating in our lives, in our world, and to understand, is this really true for you? Or is there something that you're developing the courage to express or say or communicate or simply stand in powerfully, even if it shifts a dynamic or changes a relationship or a partnership or any kind of cooperative energies? Because this would be the time to stand in that power in yourself and to then see how things shift when you show up more authentically as yourself. So Aries is going to give you the courage to bring these parts of yourself out into your life, out into the world, out into your connections with others, so that they can really see who you are. But more importantly, you're seeing who you are and you're not holding that back. And there will either be people who appreciate that, who resonate with that, who align with that, and who are also ready to do the same, in which case the relationships continue to grow. And certainly this can be with your colleagues, with people you work with, people you interact with, anyone who's in your immediate environment. They're going to feel and sense this vibrational shift, and you might also sense it in them. Because the universe is saying, stand clear and strong in your own energy field. Understand this is who you are right now. Embrace that, accept that, and understand that it then empowers others to do the same, even if it changes things or you start to feel there's a big vibrational shift where you're no longer on the same page, but that's because you're now more fully on your own page, which then brings in others who are also on that same page. So I feel like something that happens with this strong Jupiter in Aries is that as we see more of the truth of who we are, we see the same in others. And it can reveal where those connections or partnerships are no longer authentic, where they don't have that common connection anymore, and where we've outgrown people or where we've just grown in different ways, in different directions. And that's quite normal. That's very normal, in fact, in life. But there could be something here that you're seeing and perceiving as how it changes your relationships with others. And that can also be a really positive thing, especially if you feel more open. If you're wanting people to know more about you or more of who you are or what you have going on in your life or in your world. I mean, these can be openings that are beautiful for getting to know others. But if you've been trying to maintain something or like hold it up or prop it up to keep someone else happy or to not create conflict or not want anyone to be mad at you, which is also a Libra theme, then this Jupiter in Aries is going to make some things very clear because Aries likes to know what is clear, what's on the table, what's going on. Be direct, give it to me straight, tell me what it is, tell me what it's not. Don't beat around the bush. Aries is direct and wants that kind of direct communication, that direct understanding, wants the energy to be direct and clear. So it can also blast away the confusion. Any of that confusion that Jupiter in Pisces brought up or that you were sitting in. Jupiter in Aries is like, let's get to the heart of it. I want this. I like this. I need this. It can be that refreshing revelation that also makes it so simple. Like, I like you. Do you like me? Great, let's do this. Or I'm hungry. I need to eat now. My blood sugar's dropping. And pretty soon, you're going to be hangry. So it's very clear energy. Sometimes it's too direct. Sometimes that Aries energy can be very abrupt. Like, no, I hate that. Horrible idea. And it misses some of the nuances of being friendly or having a lighter touch. But again, that Aries energy is very direct, does not want to waste time, does not want to waste energy, and just wants something to get going and get moving. And so this is where there can be a fast liftoff. And you're like, I wasn't expecting this. I was sitting here eating my cornbread and now there's a huge liftoff. Oh my gosh, what's happening? What's going on? And Jupiter in Aries is like, it's time. You can take your cornbread with you, but we got to get moving. So there will be an acceleration of energies in this part of your chart. It's going to pick up, it's going to move. It's going to also show you how comfortable you are with new beginnings and new starts and fast moving energy. And not everyone is comfortable with that. It could be too fast for you. It could be too much, too soon, especially depending on how you naturally move energy. So the fire signs, any planets or points in the fire signs are going to be ready for this. The air signs are also going to enjoy this because of how fire and air are complementary. They work together to propel each other forward. But it is the planets in the earth signs that prefer to go slower and move at a steadier pace that could feel like this is happening too fast. And then the water signs could feel a little bit overwhelmed or feel like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. This is too much. I'm not quite ready. I don't know how I feel. So of course, it will depend on your own chart, on your own energetic signature of how you experience this Jupiter in Aries energy. But if you can make the most of it, if you can really recognize and see where you're ready for this new start, this new beginning, and that the universe is moving you forward, this will be a beautiful gift. This is something you can trust and understand that it's working in your favor. And as always with Jupiter, Jupiter wants to bring in the rewards, wants you to have a bounty of something or to make it easier. And as we've discussed, since it's following behind Chiron, this can be beautifully healing, beautifully supportive of your energy now, and also help you see that the universe wants you to be successful, wants you to feel confident, wants you to feel good about who you are, wants you to know your energy, know your truth, get into the heart of who you are. And this can be the reward for that intense work, for that healing journey, or for any parts of yourself that you felt disconnected from. It can come back together and give you a new sense of wholeness. And I actually think the retrograde phase is going to be a gift as well, because anything that goes too fast or moves too much too soon, you're going to have the period of time to further integrate it and to slow it down a bit, to kind of get more of a handle on it, as well as consciously assess, is this really true for me? Is this really correct for me? And if you still hear that yes, and you feel that yes during the retrograde, then you are in alignment, and that is something that you're meant to continue to take forward with you. So all in all, I hope that Jupiter in Aries brings in something that is nourishing, healing, uplifting, and confident building for you, especially after the intense passage of Chiron in Aries, and that this returns you to a deeper knowingness in yourself that you can always trust and continue to travel with. We will keep talking about this energy as we move through the middle of 2022 and into 2023 as well. So please check out my weekly Wednesday podcast where we go into more of the energies that we're experiencing over the week ahead. As always, thank you so much for connecting with me here. You can find out more about me over at mollymccord.online. where you'll find my latest astrology classes and programs, as well as my business development offerings. And please also check out my YouTube channel, where I have a variety of playlists with many astrology topics that help you dive into your astrological chart and energies even more. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be back here soon every Monday and Wednesday. Wishing you a beautiful day ahead wherever you may be in the world. And I look forward to continuing to talk about astrology with you in our next podcast episode.